Well, hey, everybody, we've got a lot going on, especially with the upcoming election and stuff going on down at the border. To talk to us about that today, we've got Carl Johnson on. Before he gets on with us, just want to remind you, go over to ourwatch.com. Subscribe there, become one of our watchmen, because we want to make sure you always get the good, true, up-to-date information. That's the best way to do it. Also, if you like this video, please share this out with your friends, your family, your neighbors. So important to get people engaged and also get them informed with the truth. So with us today, again, is Carl Johnson. Carl is with the America Project, and glad to have you on today.
Thank you, Pastor. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to talk to somebody from a freedom bastion way over in California, Southern California. I'm here in Florida, so the honor is mine.
Yeah, we definitely here in where I live in the Temecula Valley in Southern California, and I'll tell you what, there are a lot of patriots here, and there's a big fight going on. And this isn't unique to Temecula. Of course, this is going on all over the nation. We're fighting for the soul of America.
You're exactly right. It goes on here in Florida as well. I know we've got a great reputation for the free state of Florida, but some of the same fights that you've had there in Temecula, we've had here in Florida, especially with school boards and kind of taking back some of the election process at the civic level. That's gone on here, but now in Florida, we've kind of stepped it up to the next phase, which is really securing some of the other lost freedoms here in Florida that were taken away because of COVID medical protocols. And the fact that out here in Florida, we're affected by the border as well. You live it there in California, being a border state, but every state's become a border state. So we see a great need to protect ourselves from what we're seeing happen over there in the West Coast and throughout the country.
Yeah, there is a great need, and you guys are doing some great work at the American Project, or the America Project. Tell us about that. Where did that come from?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the America Project, we're a 501c4 nonprofit. We incorporated here in Florida April of 2021. Before that, we were defending the Republic, which our three great leaders, Sidney Powell, General Michael Flynn, and Patrick Byrne. I was just a part of the operational team that helped stand up a few of those entities, and I got to stay on as we stood up the America Project. Defending the Republic, that was hatched right after November 2020 happened, and it was focused purely on lawfare. There's a legal component to fighting election fraud that's still going on, and that's what started back there. What we wanted to do at the America Project was expand our role in what we call freedom lines. We have to go start freedom fires, and where there are already issues with things that might take away our rights and freedoms, we're going to go get ourselves involved in that fight. We're going to organize like how the left does, which is formally through nonprofits, and we're going to fight like them and start thinking like them, and that's why we formed the America Project.
So you've got another thing, a part of the America Project is Vote Your Vision, and there's voteyourvision.org. What's going on with that?
So, yeah, thanks for asking. Again, election season is upon us. It's the most important election in our nation's history. We said that about 2022, and everybody saw that was important, but now America has a choice. Not only does America have a choice now, but we have to do more to help secure the election process. Isn't it funny that when you and I were young growing up, Pastor, when we went and vote, we cast a vote, and when we let that vote go at the poll, at the place where we casted it, wherever we went, whatever precinct, and once we let that top-down choice go, we depended on the person we were handing it to have faith and to be a steward of that process. And that person may have been a steward there, but the people above that person and the whole process itself had become so corrupted and so cheated that as citizens, we had to go back and do something about it, especially after November 2020. So Vote Your Vision is the 2024 version of all the work we put in after the election was stolen in November 2020 and the 2022 midterms. We're a 501c4, so we cannot go directly support candidates, but we can certainly go influence the political terrain in which these candidates run. And Vote Your Vision is a one-stop shop that teaches and goes after, first and foremost, the family aspect, moms and families, and tells them how to get involved in the election process of taking it back, whether it's simply going and registering themselves to vote, getting their current registration fixed if they have to, those and their families, all the way from taking care of themselves to getting and volunteering to be a part of all phases of the election process, whether it be poll watching or canvassing or finding a way when organizations like us come to town to get involved with us, because Vote Your Vision is more than just a website and a one-stop shop that tells you how to do stuff. We're going to select cities that we know are going to be contested, and we're going to show up there physically for get out the vote measures. And we're going to partner with other organizations that are there, like in Detroit, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, all those places that were contested jurisdictions during the last election and there was defrauding happening. We're going in there with the power of patriots to take back the election process. So it's an entire seasonal campaign of Vote Your Vision. VoteYourVision.org is the website, and the website will currently build and grow as we get closer to election season. But what I want everybody to know on your show, especially in California, patriots always say, what's the call to action, Pastor? And now I like to believe that as patriots, we're past that question. We should be able to figure out in our hearts where we can go help. And when it comes to the election process or the voting process, there are all sorts of resources of how people can get involved right there in Temecula or Southern California, all the way to here to Florida. So we're really proud to launch it. It just started. It just got into orbit like an Elon Musk rocket. And now that it's in orbit, we're taking it. The holidays are coming, and you know the natural pause as we all recognize best holiday of the season coming up. We're getting ready come January, Pastor. We have rolled up our sleeves and we're coming out swinging because we have to. It was about deterrence last election cycle because we just figured out how they were cheating us. Like when you get hit in a bar, you just figured out how they're fighting you. And we got up and we kind of did okay. But now we are sophisticated enough to where we can go on the offensive in a lot of these jurisdictions and set the conditions for free and fair elections. If we don't have consent of the governed and we don't have a border, Pastor, you know, being there, we have nothing. So that's what we're working on.
I'm glad you brought up the border. I want to shift gears here for a moment. Border security is one of the efforts you're leading under the banner of Border 911. Talk to us about that. What are your efforts there at the border?
Oh, thank you. So when we incorporated this, I'm really proud about. In April of 2021, when we decided to expand our fight, like I mentioned earlier, Pastor, we decided, well, we can't do everything, but we can sure as hell direct our focus. So we did what you would do in the business world of business verticals. In the military or the Army, we call them lines of operation. We call them freedom lines in our nonprofit organization. And those freedom lines are election integrity, border security, rights and freedoms. Border security being a big part of what we do. We started Border 911 as a way to, one, figure out how we're going to advocate as a nonprofit for the Customs and Border Patrol, LEO, and all of the strategic level assets we have that could help manage and really synchronize immigration on the border. To do that, we had to first get some people with us, on board with us, as our Freedom Pirate ship was being built, to be our spokespeople. So we were so proud when Tom Homan decided to join us at the America Project. Jason Jones, if you know who he is, and Victor Avila. Those are three gentlemen that each of them has their own unique experience when it comes to defending our nation's border. Tom Homan, the former director of ICE, and I think everybody knows who Tom Homan is. He's the strategic voice of everything that needs to happen for us to start taking and restoring our border. He's the most trusted lawman in our country, and he's the most trusted border advocate. We got him to work with us, and Jason Jones being his specialty, the cartels. Jason Jones is an expert when it comes to analyzing the cartels for who they are, how they work, how they make their money, how they profit, and how they fight. That is where his layer of expertise lays. Victor Avila, if you don't know who he is, I think we know more, those of us from the Southwest. I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Victor Avila was one of two agents that were ambushed by the cartel several years ago. Victor's friend and fellow agent was killed. Victor survived several gunshot wounds and near death. He is He was the third member of the Border 911 team that we brought on at that time to talk his expertise, which is narco human trafficking. So those three layers, the human trafficking component, the cartel component, and the whole strategic component is how we started Border 911. We started it with, well, we have three of the four most trusted authorities on border issues. How do we utilize ourselves? So we literally sat, like, we call them bog sats, bunch of guys sitting around talking, saying, how could we make what we have here into something that's going to eventually, hopefully, become half like live PD cops, like 60 Minutes, except we're telling stories on the border, and also, the live legal component of it that constantly goes on. It's always fresh in the news. So we just had this idea, and at first was, what do we want it to be? And it grew into something way more than what we hoped for, and I love it. It grew so successful at the America Project that Tom took it and spinned it off to its own 501c3. And it makes sense if you know nonprofits. We're a C4. That's not tax-deductible money when you donate to us, and we're self-funded. We needed to have Border 911 start becoming its own self-licking ice cream cone because it grew that big. So it was like marrying off a bride. And now we still partner and promote Border 911 as the America Project. Tom Homan's on our board, and now he heads Border 911 as a 501c3 and continues to grow it. If you go to border911.com, you'll see what their lineup is and what they're about. There's so much to offer, and that ship's just starting to get out into orbit as well. It's one thing we're really proud of is our border advocacy. We found, I learned so much being around Tom, Jason, and Victor for the last 2 years. One thing I do know is, man, when it's come time to take our border back, Pastor, we're ready. And you have no idea how ready we are. And it's not about going back and violently taking it back. To declare them foreign terrorist organizations, which is what we want to do, ultimately help that, it opens up the entire capability, the whole menu of options to help us restore the border and take back our country. And I'm very excited about that, if you can't tell.
Yeah. No, a lot of things are going on that are great. I love what Border 911 is doing. And we just got about another minute left here in the program, and I just want to shift gears one more time. We talk a lot about the news and everything that they're trying to push on us. The narrative over the last couple of weeks has been that the Democrats had big wins. The Republicans didn't do well in this most recent election, but there were some big wins for the conservatives in this last election, and especially in the past few weeks. Can you share some of those big wins?
Well, anytime that we have, it's been a long time we finance a lot of things, the America Project does. And I think what I can talk about as big wins is on the election integrity front. If you watch and people in California watch what has gone on in the different states where you could see there was smoking gun evidence, really OJ level evidence of fraud, forensic fraud and fraud in the process. Recent wins in Georgia, if you go to voterga.org, you'll see what just happened in Georgia. The recent wins in Georgia with respect to the counterfeit ballots there, they can't slow us up in court anymore. That's going forward. Huge wins in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania again, and as well as Michigan. We've been financing private investigations that are citizen-led to expose voter fraud in Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Georgia. These are the recent wins. If you guys, if you go to our website, americaproject.com, I talk about them. If you want any more information about it, go to www.americaproject.com, info@americaproject.com. I have a staff that stays up with everything, so let us know.
Awesome. Well, Carl Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate all the work that you and all your entire team at the America Project are doing, and I do hope that everybody tune in will check into that website and connect with you, support what you're doing, because we need to secure our freedoms here in America. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today. We got a lot coming up on our next episode, so make sure you come back. Again, also, if you would, share this video out with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Go over to ourwatch.com, subscribe, become a watchman. Love to have you as part of our team. God bless you. We'll see you next time right here on Our Watch with Tim Thompson.